What's really good, everybody? Um, on this episode of Kumite Radio, I was able to get the first Laotian fighter to be signed by the UFC, Andre Soukhamthath. His nickname is the Asian Sensation. He comes on, talks about the Blackzilians, which was his first, big fight camp or fight team that he was with. Before that, he was in Rhode Island. He talks about Rhode Island. He talks about the Blackzilians. He talks about moving over to the Combat Club with a few of the Blackzilians and one of their main coaches, which is Henry Hooft. He explains, being a representative for the Laotian community because he is one of the only Laotians at the professional level, doing his thing. So, um, also, he just recently came back from the UFC Athlete Retreat, which was in Las Vegas. He explains to us the new facility that the UFC is opening, and how wonderful it is. And he kind of goes over some of the things, and he talks about his little run-in he had with another bantamweight named Davey Grant from England, and now they are maybe going to be set up to fight each other. Who knows? Because there's a little, beef going on, like a little baby beef, but it's all good. Other than that, he, talks about his family, gets into all kinds of stuff. So here you go. What's going on, Andre? How you doing?
What's up, bro? I'm good, man. I'm good. Can't complain.
All right, let's just get into it. How does it feel to be the first, ever Laotian fighter in the UFC?
Man, it feels great. It was one of my goals since I decided I wanted to be in the UFC to do something major for the Laotians. Not only being the first UFC fighter, but one of the first professional athletes. So it's definitely a big deal for my legacy, and I'm just gonna keep on knocking down those goals.
Like, how has your family reacted to all of this?
Well, my dad, I started training with him, and he's loving it. I know he's really proud of me. My mom's really proud of me. She knows that I work extremely hard at what I do, so I know that she's proud of me. My wife, she's been with me since day one, since I started this MMA journey to the UFC. Um, she does a lot of the work behind the scenes for me. So it doesn't feel like I made it. It feels like we made it together. Um, and all my friends and family back home, all my supporters, they loving it. They're very happy for me.
You said that your wife has been there since day one, right? How important is it to have someone like that? Before you were in the UFC, she was supporting you, she was helping you out with everything. How does that feel for you now that you actually accomplished like one of your goals?
Man, it feels awesome because it took a lot of time, and it still does. Training, and at that time I had to work like 2, 3 jobs too. And I would stay after sometimes to clean the mats in the bathrooms, and I wouldn't get home every day until like 11 o'clock. And I'll be gone all day, literally all day. I'll wake up, I'll go to work, I'll do my training, and I'll have to stay after and clean the mats. And she barely saw me. um so now that I'm just training full time and working whenever I want to work, working for myself, teaching private lessons or teaching classes, I have a lot more time to spend with my family, with her, with my kids, and I'm getting the money that I deserve, being signed to the UFC, and of course the goal is just to keep getting more and more and more for more security so that we can enjoy our lives.
Yeah, that's great, man. Since you guys, struggled and now it's like you have more time with your family. That I think that's really important for you and anybody, I guess, that has a family, right?
For
Um,
sure, man.
um, you know, uh, Going back to like your kids, I know your kids are very young. So do they know what you're doing, or are they just like, they're just there for the ride, they just, roll with it? What's going on with that?
Oh, absolutely. Benson, my older one, he's 4. He was raised in the gym, man. He's been in the gym since he was in the belly, so he knows what the smell feels like. My wife was with me all the time when I was training, and even when he was a baby, he grew up in the gym, and we always brought him. Um, and he definitely knows what daddy does. And also my youngest one, after training, I have him all day. But sometimes, I would bring him to the gym with me. And he knows exactly what I do. He's already punching, he's already kicking, he's only one. So they definitely have an idea what I do.
All right,
I'm
that's cool. Do you guys like watch fights together and stuff like that?
no. They know what I do, but I don't know if they like it. I don't know if they like it themselves. They're still being kids. They like doing their own thing. But when it comes to the fights on the TV, it's mostly me that's just interested,
All
and that's
right.
okay.
I think that's most kids though.
Yeah, that's most kids. I think so.
Yeah. Um, you started out in Rhode Island and then you moved down to Florida. Like, what
Yes.
made you make that shift to Florida?
Well, I was at that point in my career when I was getting better and better, and I was winning all my fights. I was in a mean win streak, and in the back of my head, I had a good team at the time. I had my father, I had my boxing coach Dave, and I had a good gym. With some of the best fit fighters in the area. But I always had it in the back of my mind, like, what if I tried the super camp and really surrounded myself with guys with the same goals as me, that want to be the best in the world, that just live fighting, forget everything else. They just want to fight. And I wasn't really around those guys. So what happened was a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, my brother, Sean Soriano, he's from Rhode Island too, and he was also in the UFC at one point. And he moved down at a young age for training, and he's one of the original members of the Blackzilians. So he knew I was doing good, and he would go back home and visit his family frequently, and he would always bring his gear. And one time, man, he brought his gear just to spar with me to help me out, and he beat the brakes out of me, man. He beat my ass pretty good in that sparring session, and I was just like, damn. And he was just like, yo, man, you gotta come with me, come train with me. I'll talk to the coaches, and you can stay with me. You can stay at my house. So that's what I did. I basically went down to Florida, planned a little vacation for myself for training, stayed with my friend Sean. For 2 weeks, and got to know the coaches, got to kind of feel the Blackzilians, and they told me if I ever wanted to, I can come back anytime. They liked my style. They liked that I was raw. They liked that I was tough, and I saved up for a year, fought a couple times, made some sacrifices, and saved up enough money to move to Florida, and then just kind of like started a whole night another life, like literally started a whole new life. We didn't know anybody, so we started from the bottom.
For real.
we
Seriously, now, going back to like when you first stepped into that gym, because that gym is, you know, legendary gym. There's so many guys there. And you said there's so many high level guys at the super camp. So how was that feeling, like going from a gym where, you're kind of like the top dog in a way to like being one of the regular guys, you're just like a guy that's just there and you're training with these UFC fight
Man,
champions.
it was tough. Of course, the first day walking in, I was kind of starstruck, a little nervous, and Blackzilians was a gym um, at that time when I was training there, because I don't know if you knew, we kind of split up. Team went in both ways, but we can talk about that later. But when I first went in there, I felt the energy, just like, wow, it's so raw in here. It's such a nice facility, but it's for the athletes, and everybody's training hard, and my heart was pumping a little bit, especially knowing that I'm gonna spar with these guys. But I also had a little thing to prove, so it wasn't so much pressure as like it would be in a fight. So I was just like, what, I'm good. I'm here to prove myself. So that's what brought the best out of me. Me just proving to myself, to these guys, that I belong here, and they were impressed. But
Yeah.
honestly, it took about 2 years for people to even know my name. I was just brought in as a dummy, a training partner. The coaches never paid attention to me, didn't even know my real name for a long time. But then I started knocking guys out locally, with my flying knees and my knees. And then, I started getting some attention drawn to me by the coaches. The teammates are always going to respect you because, you share your blood, sweat, and tears with them. And you show up every day, they're going to respect you. But the coaches, once they see, you start coming up, then they started noticing me a little bit. And mentally it hurt, but it made me stronger inside. I know that sounds corny, but it really did. It made me believe in myself that I didn't really need anybody. The coaches is just a bonus, the team is just a bonus. And it definitely made me a stronger person.
Being at a camp where there's, how many professional fighters at the Blackzilians? There was maybe more than 50.
Yeah, more than 50 at that time for sure.
Yeah, and you're like just one of the guys, and like just training with those, everybody like that. I guess that would drive you to like perform better than you would if you were at a different camp where you kind of get stagnant and the coaches are just focusing on you, right?
It definitely made me um, show up to practice every day with a chip on my shoulder, trying to prove something to somebody every day, But it did cost me in some of my fights because I didn't really have a guidance. I wasn't used to
Mm.
taking matters into my own hand and controlling my own fight camp and finding my own strength and conditioning and not getting all the pad work, if
Uh,
if not any pad work at all. So it definitely did hurt me in some fights. I probably lost about 2 3 fights, 2 fights that I learned a lot from. But like I said, I grew with it. Instead of complaining, instead of saying, "Oh, poor me," I worked hard. I took the punches, and now I'm here. And now the coaches are here for me. I'm one of the main guys that they focus on. I'm one of the guys that they count on, to build themselves. So um, I definitely feel good about my position right now. Um,
Alright. When you were over there, who were you, other than Sean, like who were you close with? Who did you build relationships with, like with the fighters and of course the coaches?
I was really cool with everybody, honestly, at the Blackzilians, but um, it was just it was like you go in, you train, and then you get out. I didn't really hang out with anybody outside the gym besides Sean. Um, but now we're at a gym called Combat Club with Henry Hooft and my wrestling coach Greg Jones, and a lot of the fighters actually are training there now too, like Gilbert and Kamaru Usman, Michael Johnson, Anthony Johnson, um, Chad Skelly, and now I feel like I'm close. I'm pretty much close to everybody because the group is a lot smaller now. But we're small, but we have a lot of elite guys.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? So it
Yeah.
could be like 20 people in the room. 13 of us are signed to the UFC.
Uh,
5 are signed to Bellator. So I think that brotherhood, um, that's easier to build a brotherhood with a smaller group with a lot of elite guys rather than a big group of 50 people, but like half of them are just there to be there. It's not good quality work. So you get to know the guys a little bit since it's a smaller group. So I feel like I'm close to a lot of guys now, like Gilbert Dorino. I was close to Eddie Alvarez and Abel, a lot of guys like
yeah, you definitely got a camp full of killers. Just,
that.
yeah, it's everybody knows, all the guys from that camp, and
For
especially
sure.
Henry Hoof. Like I respect him so much. I think that he doesn't get enough credit. Like the other guys, like like a Greg Jackson or a Faraz Sahabi. I think he's like up there with those type of coaches, but I don't think people talk about him enough.
Oh, definitely. He's the best. I can say that. Look what he's done with a lot of his fighters. You know what I mean? But he trains us to finish people, man. He trains us to knock people out. He trains us to hurt people. And it's a simple game plan. If anything, it's not really a game plan. He just trains us to fight, to be ready, to be mentally tough. And you're absolutely right. He is up there with all those coaches, and he's very underestimated. But people are gonna see it real soon, especially with the things I'm gonna do in the UFC. They're gonna see what kind of fighters he brings out.
Yeah, I think that's what makes him different, and that's what I am attracted to his style of coaching is because, like you said, he wants his fighters to finish the fight. Like he trains you to finish. So
For
that's a
sure.
little different from other, coaches, and I think that's something that's missing in MMA nowadays. And when you get to the higher levels, like a lot of them are fighting not to lose
They're
instead of
fighting not to lose,
yeah,
and they're happy with it,
yeah.
and I know it's job security, but I feel like these guys they think they're good with their stand up, but they're really not. You know what I'm saying?
They're
That's all.
they're just like like I said earlier, it's just like they're just kind of getting the points. They're just
Exactly.
fighting for points, and that's staying safe. And I don't know. I think that the days of that style of fighting is not gonna last very long because everybody's so high level at everything, and they're getting better and better and better to where you cannot be just safe. You have to take chances, or you're just gonna get knocked out, basically, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, you just got back from or let's go back to like the Blackzilians. Why did they split up?
I honestly don't know. I've always stayed out of the drama, and I was never in the plug anyways. So I really don't know. Of course, it has to do a little something about money, and when you have that many successful, powerful people put in one room, things don't always go smoothly. So there's a little split. The Blackzilians still exist, and I'm still friends with the coaches and my former teammates there too. I'm still friends with them. I just don't train with them anymore. I train with the new group at Combat Club. Um, Number one reason because it's 5 minutes away from my house. Literally 5 minute drive away from my house. Um, with the same quality of work, and I have same coaches, my striking coach, my wrestling coach, my strength conditioning coach. Um, so why not? And I have a lot of my old teammates there that I was close to, anyways. That I am chill with, that are my weight class. That are not too big for me. So it's just a no brainer.
Yeah, you definitely have, as a fighter, you are in the cage by yourself, so you do have to look out for yourself, and you do have a family, so you have to look out for, what is best for you and your family, number one, right? So you gotta
Absolutely,
take that advantage. You can't just, I think that sometimes people take the loyalty of being at a camp a little too far because everybody's an individual at the end of the day, and they have other things outside the gym that kind of affect their decision making.
yeah. And we don't get paid like we do. Like if I was in a professional basketball or NFL team, we don't get paid like that. We're individual contractors basically that train at a place that train together. And that's why our mindset, at this new place is like, yeah, we're all friends. Some of us are friends, some of us are teammates, but you don't have to like the person you train with all the time. I mean, it'll bring negative energy all the time, but we're not fake. We're real. We're in there. We get there to get work. And if somebody from another place in my weight class wanted to come train for 2 months, hey, that's cool. You pay your dues, you pay the gym fee, you pay my coaches, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to fight you 4 months from now, just because you're training here for 2 months. That doesn't make us brothers. That doesn't make us teammates. We're just training together. But I'll still sign that contract against you. You know what I mean?
Everybody's got the same goal, make money and
Exactly.
get the belt, right? So
That's it.
that is the mentality that some people don't have, and I think that's important as a fighter to become the best. Um, Now let's get into your career so far. You've signed your contract. How did that happen? How did the UFC come and approach you? Because it's not like you had a lot of time to prepare for your fight.
I think I was on the radar for a while, for a long time. Especially after my last three finishes. The guys were. I hurt him pretty bad, put it that way. And one of them went viral, major highlight reel. So they started saying, who's this kid? And I would call him out too. And a lot of people, fans that I don't even know, would tweet, "Hey, this guy belongs in the UFC. This guy belongs in the UFC." So I think that they did their homework, and they were just waiting for a spot to open, especially with the new owners and stuff. That just happened too while my career was going up. So I think that they were just trying to get their eggs in one basket before they started signing new people. And I think that once they were ready to sign new people, they were like, "Hey, let's just give this kid a chance," and they gave me a chance. But it's a funny story. I was working one day, and then I came home from work. I was sitting down. No, I was getting ready for work. I came home from training. I was sitting down, and I was training. I had just started. It was like my first day starting a camp to defend my title at the CES promotion. I got a phone call by Blackzilians owner. You know what I mean? And I guess he was like, "Hey, you want to fight in the UFC next week?" And I was just like, "Hell yeah!" So everything just went quick. It went so fast like that. He wasn't my manager, but he took the phone call, and of course they're gonna contact him because they knew that I was a Blackzilians product. So I took that call, I took that chance, and did everything in a week. My medicals, my weight cut, no training, no training at all, and just went in and fought.
Yeah, that's a crazy story to me because it happened so fast. Like
So
it's
fast.
always, yeah, so fast. But once that opportunity comes, you got to take advantage of it, right?
For
So
sure, man.
now
For sure.
let's get into the fight that you had, and it was that was even a crazy fight too. The way that it played out with those body shots. Like, where did you learn that? That little, that dig that because he was just taking him like a
He
champ.
was sick, man. What's funny? I was talking to him. I was talking to him 2 days ago because we were at the athlete retreat. We were having a drink, and I was just like, "Yo, did those body shots hurt?" And he was just like, his eyes was open. He was just like, "Bro, they did hurt." You know what I mean? So I was just like, "Hey, man, kudos to you for still standing," because I drop a lot of people with that. You know what I mean? It's not something that I just pulled off a hat. I've been doing that punch for years. I used to drop people with that all the time in practice and in fights. And you you can learn all the different things you want in your career, but you're always gonna go back to what you know. And that liver shot is definitely one of my specialties. And I'm primarily a boxer, and I worked with some great boxing coaches in my career, Dave Keefe, and then I'm coming here working with Henry Hooft. Henry Hooft trains that punch a lot too.
Mm.
You know, like I said, we're trained to hurt people, man. So everything I throw, if it lands, it's gonna hurt you. Even if it doesn't land, your elbows, your arms are gonna feel it from blocking.
Well, in that fight, you lost the decision, but I think a lot of people saw that you're gonna be out there, like you said, out there to finish some fights. So it's gonna be some exciting action to come from you in the future. Um, if you look back at that fight, what did you see in yourself? Like after what, did you watch the fight a few times?
Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
I can know. Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you see, like, looking at it and saying, like, what kind of mistakes that you made, like something that you could improve on? Or was it just like not being prepared?
I was very insecure going into that fight. Like, because a fight camp, I think fight camps are very important because it doesn't just prepare you mentally and makes you stay disciplined. You know what I mean? You stay
Mm.
disciplined. You don't drink the alcohol. You know not to go out. You know you need to train at least 2 times a day. You know you need to train everything, and you know you gotta stick to a schedule. But also the best thing I like about a fight camp is that it gets you mentally prepared. It gets you mentally sharp. You know what I mean? 2 months ahead that you're going into the cage with somebody, fighting for money, fighting for pride, and fighting for a win. And you just train yourself to prepare that way. At least I'm that way. So I didn't get I got a call the week out of the fight, and no excuses, but I did everything so fast that I wasn't even thinking about the fight, and then all of a sudden I see myself in the cage, and I'm just like, holy shit. And I did what I do. I went in there and fought. If somebody were to disrespect one of my kids or my wife or my brother, my sister, and I didn't like it, and they put their hands on him, I'm gonna fight.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what happened there. That's why it was such a good fight, because you had two guys that like to fight, that aren't afraid to fight, and we put on a good show. And the mistakes I made, I think it's just all mental. Like physically, you could see I was there, but mentally, I wasn't as sharp. And if I didn't go for that takedown in the third round, I wouldn't won that fight. I wouldn't won
Definitely,
that.
definitely.
You know. So
What is your plans for your next fight?
um, I want to fight. I want to get a fight so bad. I'm waiting for Sean Shelby to put me on the card. But my plans for the next fight, man, is go out there and try and get that $50,000 bonus, but not recklessly. I want to go out there, put on an impressive performance. Put my guy to sleep, and put an extra big check in my pocket.
Yeah, I was thinking that they would have announced you for the Singapore card since in Asia, since there's a connection there, right? There's Laos is
Yeah,
close,
for sure.
Singapore's, like right next door. Why not?
To be honest, uh, that would be a good move onto the UFC. From marketing standpoints and stuff. But I am coming off a loss, so they can't really hype me up that much. Um, but for me personally, I'd prefer to fight in the U.S. in my first contract, because I'm not making that much money to be flying my coaches out to Singapore,
Mm.
and all the extra things. Um, But in the US, it's gonna be a lot cheaper, like, and if I were to fight out of the country, even if it wasn't Singapore, the taxes, and I'm in my first contract. I'm not making as much money as the other guys are, so I just want to kind of get my feet wet, finish this contract off, win, and then do big, big things in my next contract. But
Yeah.
of course, I'm a fighter, and I'm a team player, I'm a company man. So if they really need me to do something, we can negotiate for sure.
Yeah, I respect your honesty, man. Like I didn't expect, like that type of answer, but I respect your honesty because most guys would just be like, "I'll fight anywhere. It doesn't matter," like that. But
Yeah,
you
of
gotta look
course.
at it.
Yeah,
You're a businessman too at the same time. So you gotta look
for
at
sure.
finances, and everything. So yeah, but yeah, it would be awesome to have somebody, like you, like in the future, come out to Asia. Have you came out to Asia to train or anything like that yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't. But I think it's gonna come soon. I think the important thing is, I go out there, I win my fights, I do my job, and then I think everything else is just gonna come after. I think that the most important thing is winning, and then when I win, I think that the UFC is gonna do their job, and market me the right way, and push me the right way, because I'm the Asian sensation. And I'm gonna live up to my name, and I'm gonna try my best to get as many fans as I can behind me. Not by being fake, but by being myself, and by being an exciting fighter.
Yeah, 'cause from what I know about MMA in Laos is that it's still something that people don't really know about. A lot of Laotians are doing more of the striking arts like Muay Thai, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of legit Laotian Muay Thai fighters in
yeah,
Southeast Asia right now. And but MMA is something new, and to me, I think that's a huge opportunity for you to be able to go over there and kind of like be a representative for not just the UFC but
sure.
for MMA and whole. What do you think about that?
That's definitely one of my goals. And that's what I was talking about earlier in our conversation. Just building that legacy. I got this done. Now I'm gonna check this off. I'm gonna check this off. And then when I'm done with this sport, when I'm not alive anymore, people can look back and be like, "Wow, look at how much Andre Soukhamthath has done for the Laotian community worldwide, just through MMA." Um, I want to inspire people. I want to inspire people. I want people to relate to me, and I want to try my best to make the biggest impact I can in this world. So that's definitely what I want to do. Um, I don't know how it works though, because like there's some beef going on in Laos, because like how Laos is communist.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I get a lot of people like that talk real bad about me about, the flag situation, like the three-headed elephant flag,
Uh,
and then the moon flag. But I tell them, listen, I don't care what flag you like. I have friends that support the three-headed elephant flag. I have friends that use the moon flag, but I gotta do what's right for the country, and right now the country is holding the moon flag. I got to be a good representative and follow the rules, and so that's what I'm doing. But does that mean that I'm picking one side over the other? No, I'm actually trying to bring people together.
for
I'm actually trying
sure.
to get people together. And listen, we're all Laotians here. That thing happened 40 years ago. The only thing to do is to make things better. So let's come together and represent our country. And that's what I'm trying to do as an athlete. Just represent my country, my heritage. That's where my family is from. I'm American. I'm a proud American. I'm a proud Laotian American. But you know, um, America's got a lot of people representing them, so I feel like it's important for me to, you know, go deeper into the roots and give the Lao people a chance. Give them some hope.
Yeah, I think people, not just Laotians, but even just the Asian community, they always are looking for good representatives,
Yes, for sure.
to represent them in a positive way. And, I think you're on your way in doing that for, all Asians, not just, Laotians, right?
Oh, and I would love that. Of course, I would love that, man. I got love for everyone, even people that aren't Asian. Just go out there, be me, and just let people know that dreams come true. Just gotta
You
work
know,
at it.
like me, it's just like a lot of Asians will hate on other Asians, so it's always important, like we gotta like,
It's
like
very
me,
true.
I'm Korean, you're Laotian, but if I was hating on you, I would even, call you and I would even support you. I
Yeah,
would be like, it doesn't matter. But to me, it's like I would want to call everybody, because there's a lot of hate. If you watch the news, a lot of hate going on between like many Asian countries
yeah,
politically and stuff like that. So, I think that's just nonsense. I think we should just, help each other out,
yeah.
because we're all the same basically, right?
And what's funny? Like going like a little deeper. Like I grew up like that. Like I grew up in a state where Asian gangs fought Asian gangs, like shooting at each other, like
Yeah.
couldn't be in the same room at each other with each other. I grew up with that. I moved to a new city that that Asian gang didn't like, and I got beat up for it. I got bullied and picked on for that. And I think, and what I did in the state of Rhode Island, was I brought people together. Because I've gone so far, even though it was still in the local circuit. I've gone so far in this little state of Rhode Island, winning a belt, fighting in a cage professionally, being on billboards, being on TV and stuff, that those same people that I saw used to shoot at each other are like, after I win, I sit down on top of the cage. I'll look and I'll see those same two people that used to shoot at each other 5 years ago standing next to each other and just cheering for me. You know what I'm saying? And I always think about that, because this is a true story. One time I did that. I saw that after one of my fights, and it just made me realize, like, wow, I can do some big things here, some positive things. And there haven't been much beef since. You know, and if I could do that worldwide, man, that would be huge.
Yeah, everybody can do their part. You know what I mean? People just gotta work together and, keep a positive image. And you do a very good job, man. Family man, you're not out there acting all wild and stuff, and it's
Yeah,
good. So hopefully you get in that cage real soon. But before I let you go, I want to ask you about you were just recently at the UFC Athlete Retreat, right? So how
yeah.
was that?
It's funny you said it, because you know what? It was so fun, man. It was we learned a lot of stuff. You know, they set everything up so perfect. You know, the scheduling and having speakers come in and talk about their success, and the owners of the UFC talking about the business and what they want from us. But that retreat was so good. You know, they paid for everything, and it was meant for us to have fun and to get a little wild and to let loose a little bit, and to get to know the workers behind the scenes, you know, the PR people, and even the other athletes. So what they did was, you know, they had a Snoop Dogg concert for us Sunday night. They had a carnival Saturday night, like a carnival, you know, a DJ and stuff, adult carnival. And Friday night they had like a little party, like a little luau at the new UFC facility in Las Vegas. So that's 3 nights in a row with an open bar with DJ music, you know. So you know, things got it was pretty fun, man. You know, everybody was letting loose. I was doing a lot of dancing. You know, I was kicking it with my teammates, and you know, you see some crews kicking it with their crews, and it was a nice time for the UFC fighters for sure.
Um, Talking about the UFC facility, did you walk around and check it out and see
Oh man,
what's
it's
up?
top in the notch. That's all I gotta say.
Is
It's
it
got
everything?
everything, like training wise, athletic performance wise, nutrition wise. Um, they got food there, they got shakes there, and my favorite part of that place was the recovery room.
Mm.
They had everything, man, like cryotherapy, saunas. They had a cold plunge pool and a hot plunge pool. Um, and it's all free for us if we ever decided to go. Like, say a guy like Kevin Lee who lives in Vegas, um, he can go there every day and eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner
Oh,
free
damn.
and train there and get the nutrition expert and to get his body tested. He could go there and do that as long as he's on the UFC roster. I don't live in Vegas, so I can't really do that. But, you know, once I make a little bit more money, maybe I'll do like 2 weeks out there. I'll fly out me and maybe a coach and 2 teammates, and, you know, and probably take advantage of that for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
It's
Maybe
definitely really
maybe you'll
cool.
just end up wanting to fight in Vegas all the time.
Hey, now that'd be sick.
Every fight is in Vegas. You're like, hey, that's in my contract. I'm fighting in Vegas every time, nowhere else.
Man,
So you, yeah.
I wanted so bad to get on the International Fight Week because I was just like, hey, you guys need Laos on that card. You need Laos on that card. But
Seriously.
I haven't heard anything back yet, so.
Well, um, n- right now on the news, Cyborg is on the
Oh, yeah.
news. So what happened
That's
with that? Tell me about, like, what did you hear? What did you see?
I was there. I was there.
Okay. What
It was
happened?
right after the tour, but I didn't see it happen. You know, she was actually on the same bus as me, so I was where everybody was getting off the bus, and I guess her and Angela had some beef. I guess Angela was talking smack to her on Twitter or something. I don't know the whole story, but I just know that Cyborg punched her after we got done with the tour and going back to the hotel. The shuttles dropped us off at the hotels, and then that's where everything happened.
There,
But it did happen.
like, the police came and all that stuff?
I honestly didn't even see any of that because I didn't know what happened until like someone told me a couple hours later, like, hey, you know,
Oh.
Cyborg punched somebody. I was like, oh really? I was like, when did that happen? So like right when we got off the bus, I was just like, oh, I just missed it, man.
Well, was there any other beef? Because, like, a lot of fighters, they don't like each other. And you're all together, like, for a few days. Other, like, people talking crazy to each other?
You know, there was a couple little things that happened, but you'll probably hear about it. It wasn't bad though, you know. It was just like you know, I'm the type of guy that I'm cool. I'm easy to get along with, and I'll chill with you. But at the same time, I'm sizing you up. You know, if you're in my weight class, I'm sizing you up. So funny story. I'll tell you a story about what happened with me. Like it was an altercation, but it was just kind of like, you know, fuck this guy. You know, it was me, Aljamain Sterling, um, Davey Grant from London, and
Yeah.
this new signee from England too. So it was after the Snoop Dogg concert, and we were all just having drinks at the bar, and I was just like, look at this shit. We're all bantamweights here, and then Davey Grant takes a sip of his drink and he looks at me and he's just like, "You're a bantamweight?" I was just like, "Yeah." He's just like, he took a sip. He goes, "Huh, I thought you were strawweight." But then I put down my drink and I go, "All right, oh yeah, that's fucked up." I said, "Hey, we're fighting." I pointed at him. I was like, "Hey, we're gonna fight, bro. We're gonna fight, man. Just wait and see." So if you look on Twitter, you see me kind of calling him out. But he doesn't want to fight till the end of the year. I'm not gonna wait that long.
For sure. Well, thank you for your time, man. It was interesting, and it was a good conversation. And hopefully, before you get your, when you announce your fight, I could have you on again and have you talk about, everything, that's going on in your life.
Anything you need from me, bro. Like I said, we gotta stick together. You know what I'm
For sure.
saying? And yeah, I can do to help you out. You're definitely helping me out too, John. So I had fun in this conversation. Anytime, man.
Yeah. Thank you, man. It was good.
All right.
All right.